Good morning, students. So, in today's class, we will discuss about formation of sale of contract. In previous class, our topic of discussion was about sales and agreement to sales, and we have also discussed sales and hire purchases. There are basic differences between sales and agreement to sales, and sales contract and contract of hire purchases. As we have discussed in the previous class, hire purchase sales will happen, the payment will be installment, and when you pay the money in installment, at the end of the last installment, you will get the ownership. So now, in today's class, let us check out how a contract of sales happens. What are the ingredients? What are the elements or ingredients of contract of sales? So, Section 5 of Contract of Sale Sales Act, Sale of Goods Act of 1930, clearly explain about different ingredients or elements of contract of sales. Number one is the formation of the contract of sales. As per Section 5, when a buyer offers something to the seller, or the seller offers something to the buyer for a price, this contract of sales happens. When a seller or a buyer offers something, a buyer offers something to the seller, or seller offers something to the buyer for a price, then the other party accept the offer. Say, for example, I am offering something to my friend, and he is accepting that particular offer. Then that contract of sales happens. Then what about the delivery of goods? The delivery of goods can be for immediate delivery or future delivery, and the price also can be immediate payment of price or future payment of price. So, and also the contract may be in writing or in word of mouth. Whatever it is, the sale of contract happens when one person, either it can be the buyer or a seller, offers something to the other party, or it can be buyer or the seller, and the other party accept the offer for a price. The contract of sales happens. So the delivery of goods, maybe you take the delivery today, or it may be in future, no problem. You pay the price today or in future, no problem. Or you write the contract, or you put it in a word of mouth, no problem. Whatever it is, the contract will take place. That is important. Now, yes, to make a contract of sales, as I said, we need three things. One is there must be a subject matter of the contract. We will explain in detail all the elements or ingredients. So, as per Section 5, when one person, either the buyer or a seller, offers something to the other party, and the other party can be buyer or the seller, they accept this offer for some price. So there must be two parties. Number one, there must be two parties, and there must be a goods. That is important. There must be a subject matter of the contract, that is goods, and there must be a price, etc. So one person offered something to another, it means there must be a goods, so that goods can be called a subject matter of the contract. When we discuss about goods, there are basically three types of goods. One is existing goods. Existing goods can be of a goods which exists at the time of formation of contract. A goods which exist at the time of formation of the contract can be called existing goods. Now, existing goods also can be three types of existing goods. For example, my own car, it is there in my garage, can be sold to another person. That goods is existed in my garage. That is why it is an existing goods. Now, this can be of three categories. Category number one is specific goods. Specific goods are goods, I can say, suppose I have 10 Bentley car in my garage. I am selling a black KL65 7272. That is the number. That is very specifically we explain in the contract that particular goods, which is a black car with the number KL56 7272. That is a specific goods. Now we have ascertained goods. Ascertained goods, say when we talk about existing goods, the person is in front of the goods and they are writing a contract that yes, these particular goods I am gonna buy. Now ascertained goods, say don't confuse with the existing goods and specific goods and ascertained goods. Ascertained goods are the goods, it is, even though specific, it is identified after the formation of the contract. Say I am saying I am ready to sell off a black car, okay, that is specific. A black car with a 2 or 4 wheel or something like that, specifically I say, but it is not ascertained, it is not specific at the time of formation of the contract. It is ascertained, it is identifiable with the certain qualities explained by the parties. Say certain stipulations or certain qualities are explained in the contract, and when you go and check out in the garage of my Bentley cars, you can identify, maybe you say some numbers, but at the time of the formation of the contract, you are not identified that particular goods. That is called ascertained goods. It can be ascertained later at after the formation of contract. Now, unascertained goods. Unascertained goods are goods which is identified by samples. Say, for example, or it is identified by some features. It cannot be directly identified. I am going to sell, I make an agreement to sell 100 bags of rice. It can be any 100 bags of rice. It need to say that this should have certain qualities. But we cannot exactly say and say a white, this particular rice I need, or we cannot say that. I can say I need basmati rice or I need Jaya rice. That is it. Not more than that, we cannot explain. So it is identified at the, it is identified by samples, or the supplier is giving me the sample, oh, this is the basmati rice, I need 1 bag of rice. Okay, fine. That is an unascertained goods. Now, let us go to the second category of goods, that is future goods. What is a future goods? Future goods are the goods which is manufactured after the formation of the contract. Very clear? The goods which is manufactured after the formation of the contract can be called future goods. Then, the third category, contingent goods. A goods or the acquisition of, it's a future goods. Very clear, it is a part of future goods. A contingent goods is a future goods. Such goods, the acquisition of such goods are depends upon the contingency which may or may not happen in future. It is a contingency which may or may not happen. For example, usually the big shopping malls or big retailers, they make an agreement with the agriculturist, it is other usually cultivators, It's called a forward contract. They enter into the contract when the goods are cultivated and harvesting happens. They will fix the price today itself, but the goods must be transferred after 3 months or something like that. That's called a forward contract. So in case of a contingent goods, it is a contingency that the goods, maybe the contract happens at the time of cultivation, sowing the seed, but the goods is to be delivered after the harvesting, maybe after 3 months. So there must be a condition that the goods should be properly harvested. Say, or poultry, say I'm making an agreement to deliver eggs after 3 months. So the chicken should have to have eggs after 3 months. Then only we will get the goods. So such kind of contract can be called, such kind of goods can be called contingent goods. Now, the next element of contract of sale is price. As I said, section 10, 210 of the contract has clearly defined about money, or sorry, the price. What is the price? Section 210 defined that the money consideration for sales can be called the price. The money consideration for sales. It need not explain in detail, because something as a contract, we pay something to the other person. That is very clear, the money consideration. So the barter system will not come under the purview of contract of sales. The money consideration paid for this particular contract can be called price. Then price can be fixed either the agreement between two parties, or by market conditions, or maybe pay the market price, you pay the market price, or it can be you pay a reasonable price. That also is possible. Then the mode of payment of money must be according to the mode prescribed by the contract. You pay in check, you pay in draft, or you pay in pay today or pay tomorrow, or maybe in future, whatever it is, you pay the money according to the mode prescribed. Now, yes. Next, we have to discuss very important. So the elements of contract, elements we have discussed about the elements of the goods, different types of goods, and the price, how to pay the price also. Now let us discuss very important terms regarding this sale of goods, that is conditions and warranty. Say, as I said, this is a legal term. The word you understood the meaning of conditions and warranty is different here. Here it is entirely a different meaning. Say, when we make a contract of sales, we may make a lot of statements, different kinds of statements at the time of formation of the sale of goods. Such statement can be of conditions. We can, in Contract Act, we say representations, the different representations. So these representations are called conditions or warranties. The representation can be of conditions or warranties. So let us check out what is this, what are these kind of representations. Okay, say I'll say my car is beautiful, my car is black, white, or my car has 100 kilometers speed. Within 1 minute it will jump into 100 kilometers speed, or something like that. It has a new tire, it has a new color, or something like we may have a lot of statements. So these statements can be of conditions or warranties. So what are the conditions and what are the warranties? The condition is a stipulation or representation essential to the main purpose of the contract. I'm very clear. It is a statement, you make a statement which is essential to the main purpose of the contract. The breach of this statement will cause to the termination or repudiation of the contract, or termination of the contract. You can reject the delivery of goods of such in such conditions. for example, you buy a hose. I am approaching a hose seller and saying that I need a hose which can run 50 kilometer per hour. My condition is I need a hose which run 50 kilometer per hour. So the person, the hose seller says, okay, fine, this is a hose, it can run 50 kilometer per hour. So I purchased that. But later, I understood that this hose is not running, or this hose is not running 50 kilometer, it's running only 30 kilometer per hour. Then I can deny the delivery, I can return back this hose because it is not satisfying my conditions. Number 2 is warranty. Warranty is a stipulation which is collateral to the main purpose of the contract. It is collateral statement. Again, let me explain with the same example. I approached a hose seller and said, I need a hose. He gave me a hose by saying, we say that it may run at 50 kilometer per hour. It was a statement stipulated. Actually, what I asked is a hose. He gave me a hose and he said, it may run at 50 kilometer per hour. Okay, fine. I said, okay, fine. Then later I tested and it was not running at 50 kilometer per hour. So this is a warranty. This is not a condition because I asked for a hose, not for a hose running at 50 kilometer per hour. So this is a warranty statement. But the first statement, when the first situation, I asked for a hose which can run 50 kilometer per hour. So in that statement, it is a condition. But in the second statement, he's saying that it may run at 50 kilometer per hour. And I checked it, but it's not. So it is not running at 50 kilometer per hour. So that statement is a warranty statement. I think you are clear about what is condition and what is warranty. Say, same can be the case of the Bentley car. I used to say the same example. Say one person is asking for a golden color Bentley car. Then I need to transfer my golden color Bentley car because it is a condition. And one person is coming and asking a Bentley car. Okay, normal Bentley car. I said, okay, fine, you take one Bentley car. And when going, I said, it has mileage of 50 kilometer. So that dialogue of 50 kilometer is just a warranty. I think you all understood what is condition and warranty. In detail, what is condition and warranty and what are the legal rules regarding conditions and warranty will be discussed in the next video. So all of you please listen to the video and mark your attendance in the class. Okay. So all the best. Thank you.